Alrighty. We have it. The West, I think, region. I don't have the regions in front of me, but I was assuming Gonzaga's West. This is obviously the number 1 overall seed. The Gonzaga Bulldogs taking on the Norfolk State Spartans that played their way in. I'll give them credit. Norfolk State hung with them there for about 8 minutes, and then you really saw that gear, although that gear was a little lower than they have to get to against some of the better teams. When Gonzaga decides that they're going to play at 1 gear above where you want to play, they run you out of the gym. This game was pretty straightforward. Gonzaga by quite a few, 98-55.
I wanted them to break. It just hit 100 so bad.
I wanted several teams to hit 100, but we didn't quite get it in this. It was quite sad. Second matchup, good one. Oklahoma, Missouri. That was the 8 versus 9 matchup. Kind of they get back and forth throughout. Teams played with each other. Oklahoma took control in the last 5 minutes, though. Really closed it out. It was a close game, but I didn't really have anything too deep on that one. Did you?
Nothing notable. Just Missouri shot poor. I mean, Oklahoma didn't shoot much better, but I mean, they took 27 threes and only made 11.
Gotcha.
40%.
Yes, Oklahoma takes that one 72-68. And now the 2 games we're going to talk about next were the 2 games I was looking at. I do believe I picked both of these games as an upset. The first being the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos over the Creighton Blue Jays. I should have known as soon as Denver said Creighton has not made a Sweet 16 in like the modern era of the tournament that they were definitely going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Right.
I should have known. I did not. And Santa Barbara fought really hard. They were down 10 with under 14 minutes to go in the game, and they actually took the lead with under a minute to go. Creighton clutches it out. Santa Barbara gets a poor, in my opinion, a poor shot on the last possession. I do believe we'll get to that highlight. I want to give the dudes a lot of credit because obviously they're very good at what they do. It felt like to me as a spectator, and the announcer said this too after the fact, so I don't feel quite as bad about it. Again, I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just saying what I see. It felt like on that last layup attempt that could have given Santa Barbara the win, the guy could have gone up a little stronger. It felt like he took too much of that contact, and it really knocked him off of his game. We have a couple highlights in this game, though. This was a little bit of a dunkers exhibition there for a little while. It was kind of fun. We got Miles Norris from UCSB. I believe he transferred from Oregon, I want to say. He had a nice little dunk in this one. The and one.
My goodness. Norris with authority.
Watch the ground he covers, Lisa, on this play. 1 dribble, 2 dribbles from outside the three-point line. Absorb the contact.
We like that. That's a good dunk. And we also have Christian Bishop.
Second half.
Gets spicy with it. He could have just gone straight up. He chooses to do the 180 reverse.
Couple of buckets here for Creighton to build on this 3-point advantage. This was spectacular.
It was, Lisa. Look at
You know,
Marcus
you
being able to
mentioned it
absorb
earlier,
that contact.
with the female commentator. She is very. I really.
This
do
is the
enjoy these
game.
female-
Thank you for pointing it out. It was this game, Lisa. We love you,
Yes.
Lisa. It was this game right here, Creighton UCSB. Yeah,
It
she
was
very good.
I love when women come in and commentate. Her ESPN. Who is that?
Doris Burke.
Yes, I love her when
Love
she
Doris
comes in and
Burke.
commentates game. Awesome.
And then I do believe last bit here, I'll show you this last sequence. You can take it for what it's worth. Again, I think potentially. Oh, never mind.
There's
This
some
isn't.
time.
I thought this.
Cyrus will heave it.
I thought they showed the. Never mind. I don't have the final sequence. I lied to you. Not my fault.
dare you.
Just definitely my fault. And so Creighton survives. And then we move on to the next game in that region, Virginia, Ohio. I told you, if there was one big hit I got in this first round, it was I 100% believed Ohio was winning this shit. And they did. Straight up. Loved it. Jason Preston and Ben Vanderplas for president.
What a name. Is his full name Benjamin?
Bennett,
Benjamin.
actually. I don't know. You must not have caught part of this game.
That is even better.
Get this. Tony Bennett, the head coach of Virginia, played with Ben Vanderplas's dad at Green Bay when they both played for Tony Bennett's dad. And the Vanderplas father had so much respect for the Bennett family that he named his son Bennett. And then
That is awesome.
That's great little drops of knowledge that were imparted upon me during this game by the commentary. We have a couple of highlights before we get into the deep analysis. We love this. It is the boy, Big Ben Vanderplas. He got hot. He's wet.
Off hard hedge, deep three goes down. Ben Vanderplas. It feels like some March magic. In a day devoid of upsets, there may
bang. I don't think that. Oh yeah, and then this one. I will get into a little bit of analysis before I say this because this play is part of my analysis, right? We had Jason Preston. I told you about him. I knew he was going to be the best player on the floor. Very quality guard. He ends up with a near triple-double, 11 points, 13 assists, 8 rebounds. His buddy Ben Vanderplas puts up 17, 5, and 4. But the really game...
that backwards, buddy.
What?
He had 13 rebounds, 8 assists.
My bad.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify for our viewers.
Sorry. I did not mean to screw that up. I wrote it down wrong. That's on me.
You're going to jail.
Go to jail. But really the kind of game-winning play comes right here from Ben Roderick. I'm going to just say it this way. This man has some cojones for shooting the ball like this. He had to, right? I'm pretty sure it was late in the shot clock, but just absolutely clutch. This really gave Ohio the cushion they needed to close out the win.
Vanderplas bails him out. Shot clock winding down. Roderick shot fake and lets it fly.
So that goes from a near shot clock violation, turnover on Ohio when they're only up 4 with a minute to go to they're up 7 on that big three, again by Ben Roderick. I really like this Bobcats team. I was really hoping they could make the Sweet 16, and I've already spoiled it by saying Creighton made it before, so I don't feel bad. They just came up a little short in the second round. We'll talk about that in a bit, and we'll move on unless you have something else you want to add to this one.
Only things that I saw were Ohio +6 on turnovers. Virginia had 13 team fouls. One thing that hurt Virginia the most was their three-point shooting, 8 for 31, which is only about 26% to round it up. Those can really hurt you against a team like this, who, from what March Madness has taught me, when teams get streaky, they get streaky and they get hot and they stay hot. So when you're not hot, you're not gonna win. So that's my only overview of the game. I loved it. I'm glad Ohio won. I wish they could have beat Creighton. I lived in Omaha for a while, and Creighton is just a whole bunch of preppy bastards. So that's all I gotta say on that one.
Great analysis here from the one and only Denver McFarland, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Moving on, we can run through this game kind of quick. Number 6 USC versus number 11 Drake, winner of that play-in game. Evan Mobley, the presumed number 2 overall pick, 17 points, 11 rebounds. Hopefully I wrote that one down correctly. And USC holds Drake to only 19 points in the second half. Takes care of business pretty handily.
Yep.
Moving on, number 3 Kansas, number 14 Eastern Washington. I will admit this was honestly the best surprise game for me out of the first round. Really enjoyed watching this Eastern Washington team. The Groves brothers, baby. I don't know if you caught any of this game. It was one of the earlier games in the day. Tanner and Jacob Groves, which is a junior and sophomore brother pairing for Eastern Washington. They combine, well, rather, I'll give them their individual love. Tanner, the big man, scores 35 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. And his younger brother Jacob, 23 points of his own and 9 rebounds. These dudes really kept him in it against a good Kansas team, a Kansas team that's been playing well down the stretch, even though they had to sit out the Big 12 tournament due to the COVID stuff. Kansas answered with 23 from Marcus Garrett, 22 from David McCormick, and 18 from Ochai Abaji, which is why it was an incredibly high-scoring game. I believe it was 93-84. That's just me pulling the score from off the top of my head. I think that's right.
Yep, you're right.
I don't have it written down anywhere. But this was just a great surprise for me. I didn't really. Kansas won, and like everybody pretty much picked Kansas, but this was a wild game.
Yeah, it was. I did get to watch bits and pieces. This game was going on right when my family came into town, but I still got to watch a little bit. At certain points in this game, I literally thought KU was going to choke against Eastern Washington, and I was like, bruh, don't do that. I can't lose this game in the bracket.
That's funny. And then the next game was going to be number 7 Oregon versus number 10 VCU. We got the word fairly early on during the day on Saturday that this was unfortunately declared a no contest in favor of Oregon because VCU just had too many COVID positives. That is a crying shame. Obviously, we'd love to see the game, but we got to give VCU just the round of applause. Great season. If you make the NCAA tournament, you're a good team. It's a shame they weren't able to play, but I will say I'm glad we only lost one game to COVID. Yep. Knock on wood. And then the last game of this region, the first round, number 2 Iowa, 15 Grand Canyon. We saw Luka Garza, perhaps the player of the year, with 24 points. The team scored a bunch. I think they got up in the mid to high 80s. But the thing that really troubled me, and this is a little bit of foreshadowing too, they let this Grand Canyon team hang around. We know this Iowa team isn't the greatest defensively. They can score with just about anybody, but defense kind of comes and bites them. But they only played to a draw in the second half against a Grand Canyon team that they should have probably blown out. Moving on to the second round in this region. First game was kind of a fun one. Gonzaga, Oklahoma. Yep. First game, by the way, we're going about it. Obviously, we know that a different game occurred first. We'll get to that in a minute. Gonzaga, Oklahoma. If I took this for what the announcers said, so if the announcers were wrong, please don't crucify me. Gonzaga shot a season low 49.1% in this game. We talked a little bit off podcast last night about this game, obviously. If that's your season low, holy shit.
Yeah.
49%? That's some teams might be happy to get to that in a game. We'll get to a team that would have loved to shoot 49% in a game here in a little bit. OU did shoot marginally better. They got right at 50%, and they got 27 points from their boy Austin Reeves. But unfortunately, that wasn't even close to enough. They still lost by 16 points. Gonzaga really just kind of took care of business. They got 30 points and 13 rebounds from Drew Timme, and then 16 apiece from Corey Kispert and Jalen Suggs. If you're going to play that well and still not come within 16, we already knew this, but I'll say it again. It's going to take a lot to beat this Gonzaga team.
Yeah, Gonzaga is way more dominant than I thought they were. I didn't watch them besides the tournament, and man, they just They have a whole nother, like you said earlier, they have a whole nother gear
that they can go to. And when they turn it on, man, they can run you out of the gym in a hurry. A couple little quick highlights for you. Nothing flashy on this first one. Just watch Corey Kispert's stroke here, Denver. This dude he pures it.
Ooh.
Now, obviously, wide ass open. You're not going to get much more wide open than that. But if you're going to end up leaving a guy like Corey Kispert open from three, you just kiss your ass goodbye, to be honest. I mean, pardon my French, but that's just tough. Jalen Suggs had this really good finish at the rim.
Ooh.
He's going to be a really high pick in the NBA draft this upcoming year too. And then we already said it, the man that really was the man of the day for them, Drew Timme. I mean,
spinning inside. Look for Timme.
If you're scoring 30 points against a high major team like Oklahoma,
that middle pick and roll. And Timme gets up the court.
And Denver loves his mustache.
Yeah, dude, that's I love it. He was just talking about guys who should have been popping the 80s. Drew Timme.
Into the post, Timme. Good seal, good hands. Not just the feet, good hands.
Oh no, he does the work early.
I mean, it's a lot. It's just a lot of the same here from Timme. He's got just unbelievable footwork. I won't watch the whole highlight just for the sake of time, but that dude is just so smooth. He's got that buttery smooth post game, and he's gonna be a big reason why Gonzaga very well might win the national title here coming up very soon. Next
Very
game,
fundamental moves in the post.
yeah. Next game was that Creighton-Ohio game. All 5 Creighton starters reached double figures, led by Marcus Zagorowski, 20 points. Christian Bishop put up 12 points, 15 rebounds. Tough day for Jason Preston and Ben Vander Plas. They only combined for 13 points. I think Vander Plas had 10 rebounds, and Preston almost got a double-double with rebounds and assists again, but it just wasn't quite anywhere close to enough. Creighton really controlled it throughout and moved on, so we'll get Creighton-Gonzaga next round. Next game, Kansas-USC. I think I'm recovering. That was the last game I believe we got to see, and I'm still recovering from it. What USC did to that Kansas team, I expected them to win. I did not expect them to win like that or anything close to that. Kansas simply forgot to show up.
Yeah, 29% from field goals, 6 for 25 on threes. Get out rebounded by 16. Didn't come to play.
And then USC on the counterpoint, they shoot 57% from the field and 61% from three. Marcus Garrett was the only Jayhawk to reach double figures in scoring, and the Mobley brothers combined for 27 points, 21 rebounds, 9 assists, and 4 blocks. It was just absolutely dominant. I should have remembered the final score. It was 85-51. I made the comment to my father, I wonder if a 6 seed has ever beaten a 3 seed by 40 points at one point in this game. Because it honestly was so mind-numbing to me what I was watching. Congratulations to USC. They're very deserving of it. Obviously, they really took care of business in their first 2 games. Really, the game that was... I feel like this one, you didn't really maybe know it was coming, but the writing might have been on the wall after the way Iowa played in their first game. Number 2 Iowa, number 7 Oregon. Obviously, Oregon not having to play that first round game. Maybe some teams thought, or maybe some people thought they were going to come out slow. That was definitely not the case. Came out very fast. Iowa's defense cost them in the end. What a shocker there. We kind of were saying that for the last several weeks watching this Iowa team. They're great offensively, can't defend. I saw a stat something though that Oregon is something like it was either 11-3 or 14-3 when their guard Will Richardson plays, and he's back and healthy now, and they just looked really, really good. Luka Garza put up 36-9, and it didn't even feel like it made a dent.
No, and here's why. It's because Iowa had three starters who scored 0 points.
No points.
None.
I had that note too. That's absolutely unacceptable.
No, you can't win like that. Like, and then you got Oregon over here who's shooting 56% from the field, right?
That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot to do with, again, Iowa's not playing defense. You look at the highlights for this game that I'll pull up here in a second. It was literally just a dunk show from Oregon. You should not, if you're a good basketball team, you cannot be giving up this many dunks. We'll just let this play in the background while we talk over it with it muted. But you just see, I'll keep track if you want to talk, Denver. That's one dunk.
Yeah, so I feel bad for Luka Garza, right? He really tries, and then in his post-game press conference, he tears up. He could very well be the player of the year. There's a great contention between him, Sumu, and Cunningham, but it's just they didn't come to play, stats-wise. And then you go over to Oregon. Oregon had two players in 20-plus points. They had 4 players plus 15, right? Like, they're playing to win, and it's truly a spectacle. I think Oregon, Oregon USC round of 16 is going to be a fantastic game overall. It won't matter because I think whoever wins is going to get rolled by Gonzaga. But for what it was a upset to me. I didn't expect Iowa to lose because I knew of Luka Garza prior to the podcast, prior to starting. He was the one college player I had heard of. So it's just unfortunate. Didn't come to play. Didn't play defense. Look, like you see on the screen right there, all 5 Iowa players were walking on defense right there. All of them. Where's the help? Where's the help defense? There's nothing. It was
nowhere. It was nowhere literally all day. We're getting up to it now. Is there any more dunks? Or is this the end? We do have another dunk. Oh my!
Where's the defense? Nowhere.
I don't know if you have my webcam up or if you're focused on the screen. 10 dunks in a game from Oregon.
Stupid.
Unacceptable. Stupid. All of it. You just can't let that happen. And for that reason, Iowa, you have to say they deserved to lose, and vice versa, Oregon deserved to win. And now we move on. The final region. As you were saying, this might be the perfect time to say it, right? The Pac-12 really showing out in this tournament. We'll talk about it just briefly once we wrap up the show with a couple of fun stats from the opening weekend. But Pac-12 easily the most impressive conference. When you would probably have to argue that they're the most maligned conference in terms of how they were talked about most of the season and heading into this thing.